Hi everyone, welcome back to the Makeup Revolution channel. My name is Sophie from the channel sophdoesnails, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you, I feel like that was so professional. In today's video I'm going to be showing you my eyebrow routine. I've had a lot of questions recently about my eyebrows, so I thought I would just put it all into one video and show you guys. So yeah, if you want to see how I get my brows looking like this, then just keep watching. Okay, so as you can see, my natural brow colour is kind of like a blondish sort of colour. My natural hair colour is like this to here, so it's kind of like a dark blonde, and my eyebrows are kind of like a dark blonde as well, but I do like to have them a little bit darker. Obviously it's completely personal preference on how dark you like your brows. I like to do them just a little bit bolder. I use the shade Taupe on most days, and this one is a pretty kind of cool toned blonde sort of shade, but also if I want to go a little bit bolder I sometimes use the shade Medium Brown. I just use this with a light hand, and also Ash Brown works really well for me because I have like quite grey toned hair. But today I'm going to use the shade Taupe because this is pretty much my go-to shade. I'm actually going to use the Flex brush. This is the Flex brow brush, which obviously like bends into all these different shapes. It has an angled brush on one side, and then the other side it has a kind of like clean up concealer brush. So what I like to do is I just dip my angled brush into the brow pomade, obviously, and I don't go too crazy on the first little dip. I just get a little bit of product on my brush, and I start at the front of my brow just by drawing a line, and I use a much lighter hand when I'm doing the front of my brow, so I pick up a little bit of product and just draw a very light line under my eyebrow, and then I continue this line all the way until the end. So you can see at the moment I've literally just drawn a line. I then get some more product onto my brush, a bit more product this time, and I then start to fill in the tail of my brow, and I like to pretty much just fill this in completely. Again, like completely personal preference how bold and dark you want your eyebrows to be, but I just fill in the tail of my brows completely, dipping back into a little bit more product, and I then just kind of work my way towards the front. And what I like to do when I get towards the front, I don't then tend to pick up much more product. I just use what is left over on the brush and slowly try to kind of like blend it to the rest of my eyebrow. And then when I get to the very front, I take the brush on its side, the angled brush, and just flick upwards to just blend out that line underneath. And then I also just take whatever's remaining and go along the top of my eyebrow as well. And then I just keep flicking up at the front of my brow until, I don't know, it looks how I want it to. So then hopefully you can see now that I've got the kind of initial shape, I can then go back in with any product where I feel like there's any gaps or anything. I feel like this one is actually pretty good today. I feel like I've done a pretty good job here. So as you can see, it's darker at the tail of my brow, and then the front of my eyebrow is a lot lighter, so it gives that kind of gradient effect, which I think just looks a little bit more natural. Obviously using a brow pomade isn't going to be the most natural looking thing in the world. Sometimes as well I do just completely start with the tail of my brow. I don't know, it just kind of depends what mood I'm in. Also, if you dip your brush in and you think that you've got too much product on it, just like kind of tap it off in your hand a bit and it should help. So I'm then just going to do the exact same on the other side. And obviously if you want to, you could change the shape of your eyebrows with the eyebrow pomade, but I just tend to kind of follow the natural shape that my eyebrows grow in. But you know, you can do whatever you want, there's not really any rules to this. Okay, and then I'm just going to go back into the front there and just flick upwards, and then just take whatever's remaining and just go along the top. Okay, so as you can see, this one is a little bit more blocky towards the front. Sometimes I just wear them like this because, you know, I can't be bothered to fix it, but what you can do if you just want to kind of fix the front a little bit is just take your finger and just kind of like go backwards and forwards to just soften the front bit a little bit. Or another good thing you can do is take your foundation brush or your beauty blender, whatever you've used to blend in your foundation, and just take whatever leftover product is left on that and just kind of like dab it at the front of your eyebrow, and that should help try and like blend things out as well in case you've gone overboard. So, and obviously with eyebrows it's very difficult to get them looking absolutely identical and perfect. Mine rarely look exactly the same, but I don't really mind, you know. I think Michelle Phan once said that eyebrows are sisters and not twins, so I just stick to that. What you can do if you feel like you've gone a bit too thick with one of your eyebrows, or I don't know, you just want to clean them up a bit, you can just take a little bit of concealer and just go along the bottom, and that is what the other side of this brush is for. So you would literally just get a bit of concealer on here and just kind of clean them up. And then what I like to do, I do actually have a little bit on my eyebrow, but like on my brow bone right now, but you can't really see it, is I take whatever highlighter I'm wearing today. I'm wearing the Vivid Bakes highlighter in Golden Lights, which I think looks amazing with a bit of a tan. Like, this highlighter is gorgeous. It's just kind of like a yellowy gold sort of colour. And I'm just going to take some of this on that same flat brush, and I'm just going to highlight my brow bone. Obviously this is a little extra step. Definitely don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I feel like this just gives a bit of an extra pop. And I don't go all the way in with the highlighter, I literally just kind of put it on the outside there. And another thing, I'm sure you guys might be curious whether I set my brows with anything. I don't actually do that anymore. I used to set them, but I found that when I'm using a pomade especially, because this is waterproof, you don't really need to set them because this kind of holds them in place anyway. So I will link this down below where you can get it from. It's only £6. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you aren't already subscribed to the Makeup Revolution channel, make sure you press the little button down below. Also turn on our notifications so that you're notified whenever we post a video. I will also leave all the products that I used in the description box down below. So if you want to find out any more information, then just head over to there. So I hope you're all having a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!